The concept of flight has fascinated people well before planes were invented, so it probably comes as no surprise that in Red Dead Redemption 2 you will find some of the idiots who actually tried to fly without fully understanding how. Well, I mean, it might be a bit surprising, it is a game, but the world has always been full of idiots and the game puts emphasis on that. The game also puts emphasis on unfortunate people, so let's mash those two together. And that brings us to the story of the flying machines, which is actually a more in-depth and interesting Easter egg than at face value. But anyways, let's dive right into this. Now there's two flying machines to find. The first one that you'll likely come across is here, just above Big Valley. When you arrive at this location, you will find the wreckage of a flying machine and a human body inside it. We'll get onto the identity of the deceased in a moment, but first of all, let's inspect this wreckage. Your journal will read, found a flying machine, or what's left of it, and the genius who built it out in the woods, with a diagram of the flying machine. The next spot you're going to want to head to for the second flying machine is down here, which is just a bit west of Armadillo, an area only accessible during the epilogue. When you arrive, you'll find the remains of a lighter flying machine. Wait, hang on, kill the lizard. But like I was saying, this is a lighter looking flying machine, and you will notice that on the back wing of the flying machine, it will read the name Charles Kinnear. And you're probably wondering, who is that? Well, we actually get to meet Charles Kinnear in the first Red Dead Redemption.
Into the wild blue yonder, Marston. Oh dear.
And in Red Dead Redemption, Charles Kinnear actually dies. Kind of funny because he suffered the same fate that he avoided here, because it would appear as if this time he survived. If you inspect this location, it won't say anything else for you, but it will read, found a flying machine, needless to say, it had crashed. Charles Kinnear lives to fall to his death another day. But who's this less fortunate soul? Well, as it turns out, there's a theatre movie that tells us exactly who this could be.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to share with you one of the wonders of the age. In fact, one of the wonders of any age. Aerial navigation, or as we call it, man flight. Soaring through the heavens in flying machines, so that even gravity itself can be mastered. An amazing and bewildering spectacle, but I assure you everything I am about to share with you is true. Now, we are all familiar with the potential cruelties and injustices of travel by horse, wagon, or locomotive. You are like to be beset upon by the infinite savagery of wicked men or bloodthirsty beasts that lurk in the bogs and plains of these tormented lands. But what if I told you for a certainty that man will soon be traveling across the heavens with wings like a bird? I am sure you think I am full of untruth, but I have not drank a pint of liquor in over a year, and I will do my utmost to demonstrate the veracity of my claims. For 100 years, steamboats have engaged in passage along our great rivers, but a man by the name of Cecil H. Peck is in the process of inventing a steamboat for the sky. The only limitation on its speed, at which the porter can shovel on more coal. But parts of the country where coal is scarce, oars can be used in the skies to hasten your voyage and keep the passengers active while they travel. Near Pittsburgh, there lives a telegraph man named Aldous Kinnear, who each evening after supper retires to his barn and dons the wings of a giant creature and takes to the heavens. You will be delighted to know he has traveled considerable distances, as many as 45 miraculous feet. Unfortunately, on his record-breaking flight, he knocked over a lamp and was consumed by flames. His two boys, Percival and Charles, have promised to continue their dear pa's legacy of skyflight.
Though it was only briefly mentioned in that, Aldous Kinnear's two sons, Charles and Percival, promised to continue their father's legacy, which of course was creating a flying machine. So is this body in the woods here, in this flying machine, Percival Kinnear? Or could it be someone else entirely? If this is Percival, it would appear as if Charles and Percival decided to explore the possibilities of human flight in different ways, as their flying machines are quite different, though share a very similar base concept. Now that's not necessarily due to their father's concept, but more the concept of one Leonardo da Vinci. Now personally I reckon this guy probably is Percival Kinnear, and I reckon he and Charles were not cooperating when it came to doing this, but it more became a subject of sibling rivalry, hence why they're both dead in different times and places. Otherwise, Percival's body would not have been left out here in the woods, as Charles would have been here to watch him fail. But that's just my theory. But at least we know that Charles Kinnear's life's work wound up being the death of him, as it was for his father, and possibly his brother too. Essentially, this family's legacy just committed suicide. But anyways, you're going to have to let me know what you think down in the comment section. What do you think happened? Do you think this is Percival Kinnear? How long ago did this happen? Because it definitely does not look like it happened yesterday. And if this isn't Percival Kinnear, then who is it? But anyways, that's the story behind the 2 flying machine wreckages that you can find in Red Dead Redemption 2. Whether or not it's an accurate theory is another question entirely. But anyways, thank you all for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff, I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you all very soon with another video at some point.